Hi, today we are in Brasov, the city set in the very heart of Romania, in the famous region of Transylvania. Brasov is renowned for its medieval Saxon architecture, which dominates the old town. On this walk we're going to explore some of the key local attractions, which luckily are within a short walk from each other. So let's go and see what they are. One of the most prominent local buildings is Casa Sfatului, the council house. The original council house was built in the 16th century and stood in this place until the 20th century, when it was demolished and replaced with a more modern building that we see today. Since 1950 it has housed a local history museum. The square where it stands marks the center of the old town. The narrow streets nearby are filled with numerous restaurants and cafes. A short stroll from here is another major local site, Biserica Neagra. Biserica Neagra, or Black Church, is a magnificent cathedral built by the local German community, hence typically German Gothic style. This is the largest Lutheran church in Transylvania. The cathedral has a 6-stone bell, an impressive 4,000 pipe organ built in 1839, and a rich collection of Anatolian carpets. Just outside the church stands a monument to the great Transylvanian humanist and reformer Johannes Honterus. In its left hand the statue holds a book on reforms in education, while its right hand points towards the nearby school building, which is quite symbolical. Now let's take a walk to the nearby city wall complex, which encompasses most of the old town Brasov. Catherine's Gate is part of the old defensive complex. It is named after the St. Catherine's monastery that stood here before. This is the only original city gate to have survived since the medieval period. Interesting fact is that during the Saxon rule, remains were forbidden from owning property inside the fortress. The 4 small cornered turrets of the gate symbolize the town's judicial autonomy. Above the gate is the city's coat of arms, featuring a crown on an oak tree trunk and roots. Just a stone throw away from here is another gate. The Scaffold's Gate, or Poarta Scei, was built in 1827 for the purpose of streamlining traffic going into the city. This gate has 3 arches. A big one in the middle is for vehicles, while the 2 smaller ones are for pedestrians. There is a plate with Latin inscription on it that says the gate was built after the visit by King Francis I to Brasov in 1817. Just a few blocks away from the Scaffold's Gate is the most peculiar attraction of Brasov, Strada, which means the String Street, the narrowest street in the city. It is also said to be one of the narrowest streets in the whole of Europe. It was initially built as a corridor for firemen and was first documented in the 17th century. It stands between only 111 and 135 centimeters wide and 80 meters long. Further down this walk, we approach the southern wall of Brasov's medieval fortification system. A number of the original guard towers on this side of the fortress have survived remarkably well. Among them the Weaver's Bastion, the Spinner's Bastion, the Drapers' Bastion and the Furriers' Bastion, named so after the guilds of tradesmen that donated towards their construction back in the Middle Ages. The Weaver's Bastion is particularly impressive. It has 4 levels with 4-meter thick walls in the basement and 1 meter thick at the top. It has shooting holes and 2 watchtowers. Earlier, the bastion had served as a depository and then, due to its great acoustics, as an opera hall. Today it houses a museum holding, among other artifacts, a large-scale model of Brasov, a collection of old weaponry and weaved products. Eventually, we reach the central park of Brasov, near which there are several notable buildings worth taking a look, including primarily the Brasov Prefecture. It was built in the early 1900s at the request of the local Chief Justice Georg von Wehr. The imposing Palace of Justice boasts neo-Baroque style, which is quite typical of the Hungarian Budapest historic monuments of that period. Not far from the Prefecture building is the City Hall. This is a classic example of Art Nouveau architecture created in 1898. This 3-story building has some prominent decorations and an elaborate Art Nouveau facade with a clock at the top. The City Hall bears a strong influence of the Austro-Hungarian imperial style. Just a short walk from the city hall, we find ourselves in front of a cute neo-Baroque building. Originated in 1902, this edifice houses two museums, the Art and the Ethnography, under one roof. The Art Museum comprises 6 halls holding paintings, sculpture and decorative art. The Ethnography Museum displays a permanent collection of national textile. The final stop of our journey is Strada Republicii, or the Republican Street. Just as any other European city these days, Brasov has its own pedestrian shopping thoroughfare. The street abounds in numerous shops, cafes and restaurants occupying ground floors of the historic buildings. The seen here architectural styles are various and include Baroque, Gothic, Rococo and Imperial. A detailed map of this walk can be found on the GPS My City website, as well as in the GPS My City app. The actual links can be found in the description area below this video. Feel free to tell us what you think about this presentation. If you want to catch our latest travel videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.